Created in 1948 by the animation team of Jay Ward and Alex Anderson, Dudley Do-Right made his first official appearance on the Rocky and Bullwinkle show in 1961. The character of Dudley Do-Right was a well-intentioned but often incompetent Canadian Mountie whose character was inspired by old silent films and the stereotypical characters that they portrayed. Those characters included the dashing but fumbling hero Dudley Do-Right, the damsel in distress Nell Fenwick, and the mustache-twirling villain Snidely Whiplash. And of course, Dudley's horse, aptly named Horse. The show's satirical humor, witty writing, and quirky animation style were instantly loved by viewers and turned Dudley Do-Right into a beloved character in his own right. No pun intended. The Rocky and Bullwinkle show, which was known by several different names, debuted in 1959 as The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends, and it was an immediate hit with children and parents alike. The jokes were often double entendre, going right over the heads of the kids. The show itself would run in multiple segments, with the main cartoon featuring Rocky the Flying Squirrel and Bullwinkle J. Moose, but then they'd have other segments sandwiched in the middle of the show. Other featured segments were Fractured Fairy Tales, which were classic fairy tales that were retold in a humorous fashion, and also Peabody's Improbable History, which featured a genius scientist who just happened to be a dog, and his pet boy Sherman. There was also Aesop and Son, which was similar to Fractured Fairy Tales, only using fables instead of fairy tales, and Bullwinkle's Corner, where Bullwinkle would recite poems and nursery rhymes and butcher them in the process. And then there was Dudley Do-Right. A parody of old-time silent film melodramas, using tropes like a single piano as background music and title cards with printed text. The very first Dudley Do-Right segment was titled The Disloyal Canadians and was the first aired in The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and Friends, Season 1, Episode 11. In it, Snidely Whiplash is smuggling furs across the U.S.-Canadian border, helped by his musical band, Guy Whiplash, and his disloyal Canadians.
Unfortunately, his music was very bad.
Of course it's bad. Not only are my boys tone deaf, but their instruments are filled with stolen furs.
Dudley is instructed to infiltrate the band to expose their crimes and bring them to justice.
Snidely Whiplash is attempting to smuggle furs over the border into the United States. I shall need an undercover man to join him and expose his evil plan.
In the second segment of Dudley Do-Right, the character of Stokey the Bear is introduced as a parody of the popular Smokey the Bear, which was a mascot for the U.S. Forest Service in their fire prevention campaign. Smokey's motto was, "Only you can prevent forest fires," but Stokey, who was hypnotized by the villainous Snidely Whiplash, would actually set the forest fires.
Look into my eyes, Bear. Now, go light a fire somewhere.
In the cartoon, Dudley Do-Right picks up Stokey's trail, which is a trail of burning forests.
Give me a description of him.
Well, weighs about 700 pounds, fur coat, cinnamon color, wears a Mountie hat.
That's not very much to go on. Anything else?
He's a bear.
And follows him into Firehouse 624 in Quebec.
Stokey the Bear? No, I haven't seen him.
Well, I have reason to believe he is in your midst.
The fire chief lines up his men so that Do-Right can try to identify Stokey, who's now dressed as a fireman.
Dudley went down the line, carefully scrutinizing each and every man. It was then when he came to the fifth man in line, he stopped still in his tracks.
This man didn't shave this morning.
And on he went.
In the end, Do-Right sends Stokey to live with some friends in Chicago. In the last scene, Chicago is on fire, and Do-Right is telling Mrs. O'Leary to blame it all on the cow. The cartoon was intended to poke fun at the overly serious tone of the public service announcements, but the U.S. Forest Service didn't take it that way. Some critics argued that the character's satirical take on fire prevention was insensitive to the very real dangers of wildfires and could be perceived as making light of a serious issue.
Chief, that man is shirking his duty.
You mean Stokey, the new man?
Stokey?
The chase was on.
The controversy surrounding Stokey the Bear's appearance in the Dudley Do-Right cartoon was also a result of the United States Forest Service efforts to protect their trademark character. The agency had previously taken legal action against other unauthorized uses of the Smokey the Bear character, and the appearance of a parody of Smokey in a popular cartoon was seen as a potential infringement of their trademark. While the Forest Service had not taken legal action against the cartoon at the time, there was a fear that this could change in the future. In response to the Forest Service complaint, J. Ward Productions removed Stokey the Bear from future episodes of the Dudley Do-Right cartoon. Ultimately, the character of Stokey the Bear was canceled, and this remains his only appearance. His satirical take on fire prevention was deemed inappropriate for a children's cartoon, and his use of a parody of Smokey the Bear raised both legal and ethical concerns. Stokey the Bear was banned and left out of reprints of the series for many years because the U.S. Forest Service didn't like the idea of a bear who started forest fires, even though Snidely Whiplash had hypnotized him to do so. The Stokey the Bear segment wasn't seen again until 2005 when Sony Wonder and Classic Media released it on home video. Despite his only one appearance, the Stokey the Bear episode of the Dudley Do-Right cartoon remains a cult classic and a part of American pop culture history. The humor and irony that surrounded the character's appearance in the show only adds to its legacy. The cartoon in its entirety can now be seen on YouTube for you to judge for yourself if the banning was justified or just an overreaction by the U.S. Forest Service. Now it's your turn. What do you guys think? Have you ever seen the Stokey the Bear segment of Dudley Do-Right? If you did, do you think it should have been banned? Was it really inappropriate to be in a children's show? Leave your comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. But most of all, thanks for watching. This is Rich from Rerun Zone. I'll see you in my next video.